Life is adaptation. Adjusting to adulthood has been a journey, to say the least. 25 is like the sweet spot of having some semblance of what's going on. There's a sense of routine, a deeper understanding of who you are and your interests, yet it's still young enough to have no clue what is happening. I can feel the naivety of the early 20s fading away, but it feels like I don't have enough life experience bank to be completely sure of what I'm doing. Like, great, I'm an adult now, but what does that even mean? It's more than just taxes and politics. There's so much more nuance to it. It's such a weird adjustment period that I'm actively trying to figure out, and I know I'm not the only one struggling to understand it. Everything feels the same yet different, and if a quarter of my life is over, I want to learn from these experiences I've gathered to make the most of the rest. What caused me to end up here, and where should I go moving forward? Like most people in their early 20s, nothing was concrete. I didn't know what was important. To me, success equated to happiness and failure to depression, so that's the direction I ran in. I used to be obsessed with progress, or at least the idea of it. The grind, reaching the goals I'd set for myself. Achievement was the destination. I had never heard the concept of intrinsic extrinsic motivation, so I put these achievements on a pedestal thinking they'd be the key to fulfillment without asking myself, what does fulfillment even look like in my eyes? So when I finally reached my destination, I ended up just feeling lost. By my mid-20s, that feeling only expanded. I was even more confused. How do you come so far, yet it still feels like you're just at the beginning? What did any of these experiences even mean? The old method of doing things just doesn't work, and more responsibilities are put into your plate. The pressure builds and confusion turns to frustration, and frustration into... Life has a funny way of catching up to you. Your fears, insecurities, imperfections, all manifesting into reality. And the worst part is, I had no one to blame but myself. I thought I had the answers. I thought I knew where I was going. But there came a time where I just had to admit that I was wrong. And if I didn't know where I was supposed to go, maybe now I could ask for help without my ego getting in the way. I found myself venting to this woman I met, and what she said completely changed my thought process. You're thinking with this scarcity mindset. Once you can trust that you are enough, you won't fear losing yourself anymore. You've made it this far, haven't you? She told me I had the keys to the prison I put myself in, and all I had to do was leave. It felt like I was finally able to move forward. She gave me this sense of self-validation I didn't know I needed. But now I had even more questions. When did I become so jaded? Where did my passion go? Was this just a symptom of getting older? I sat with these feelings for a while, but I created habits to help understand them just a bit better. year later, the words from another woman guided me once again. She told me, adulthood is unlearning all the negative thought processes you've acquired so far and relearning to live again with a fresh perspective. If I wanted to grow, I'd have to reconceptualize all I've learned up to this point, heal from traumas, dispel unconscious biases, and uncover the truths behind my so-called identity. Like most Gen Z adults, I grew alongside the birth of current social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, without knowing about the impact that they really have on us. I remember freshman year, I was talking to this girl who said she'd never date a guy with less than 200 followers, because if not even 200 people cared about you, then why should she? It's kind of embarrassing to admit now, but that really shaped my mind going forward, and she probably doesn't even remember saying that. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I finally let that go. And even still to this day, I wrestle with the concept of internet numbers playing a role in our postmodern society. As we evolve, so do the challenges we face, and I'm still learning to adjust to these growing pains. I still question everything around me, and I don't think I figured it all out yet, but I feel like I'm able to move forward with more hopeful intentions than I had before. If there's one thing fatherhood has taught me, it's patience. We finally went on the mandatory Disneyland visit, and it's funny, I've been here dozens of times, but this was the first time on dad duty. Usually I have an itinerary, schedule reservations, map out exactly how we're gonna spend the day, but I really didn't need it this time. We could just roam around and enjoy the sights. Probably spent more time eating than we did on actual rides, but interestingly enough, it was peaceful. I'm living for something bigger than myself, and seeing that in real time really grounds you.
You already know the deal. Family shit, yes sir.
I've been trying to move with much more intent now. Create art that I can genuinely be proud of rather than algorithm slop.
This is like the freakiest setup for sure. My tears. I just can't believe she would
Fucking pop my ass.
John, just the man I wanted to see. I have a very important task for you.
It's made the process 1,000 times more enjoyable from start to finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
I've even read a couple books this year. Far from the book a month I set for my resolution, but I mean it's something. And not every book has to be some thought-provoking novel either. I got manga in the rotation. It feels like a better way to decompress that actually leaves me feeling refreshed and inspired. And having hobbies is just as important too. I've been needing to get back on the lanes. The feeling that comes from seeing a perfect strike. It's just you versus yourself on the alley. Bowling's like life for real. Sometimes you try and miss the mark, but you pick it back up, realign, take a deep breath, chuck that bitch.
Strike to claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it!
Having a family is like actually insane to me. Like I cannot believe it. Unconditional love is something I hope everybody can experience in their lifetime. It gives you so much more perspective. Like the bullshit does not even matter when you remember what you have. I'm much more selective with my free time, and I don't go out that often, but when I do, it has to be with people I enjoy.
Oh my god, he's in combos on me. He's going to kill me.
That's crazy.
Hey, get your ass back in here! That nigga trying to tell me how to play!
Wait, let me go ask this school.
Life is adaptation, and I think I'm getting the hang of things, but I know I always have to remind myself that there's still a long way to go.